The film opens by introducing Wanchi Bank, a traditional bank that, after a decade, has embraced modernization by launching a digital currency called BST. Now, the president of Wanchi Bank, Chun, is presenting this digital currency. Committed to the principle of peace and love money, Chun stands out for his willingness to spend generously to aid the poor. However, a group aware of his hidden criminal deeds has set its sights on robbing Wanchi Bank. The story quickly unfolds as Chong Bojun, disguised as a contractor, approaches his friend Bin, who is busy digging a tunnel. Following the advice of their hacker friend, Cao, Chong and Bin manage to infiltrate the bank undetected. Once inside, Bin and Chong are startled by the unexpected arrival of another associate, Wen Hao, who is posing as a security guard. Concerned that other guards might enter, Chong instructs Wen Hao to keep watch outside. With the help of special glasses, Bin and Chong spot numerous security-triggering lasers around the vault entrance. Though seemingly impossible to bypass, they manage to evade the lasers effortlessly, thanks to an access card Cao prepared in advance. Wasting no time, Bin and Chong unlock the Wanchi Bank vault, which deactivates the surrounding lasers. As a result, they quickly seize the money stored inside. It becomes clear that Chang's group is highly skilled and professional in theft. Bin, a master of disguise, deceives the guards and retrieves critical data for resale. Yet, on one occasion, Bin, Cao, Wen Hao, and Chong encounter Chen's subordinates, who are furious about losing Chen's valuable data to them. To protect his friends, Chong, leaving behind a treasured keepsake from his beloved, chooses to sacrifice himself. Not long after, Bin has just secured the vault when he notices the lasers reactivating, with guards due to patrol shortly. Chong, known for his clever tactics, puts a plan into action. Unexpectedly, the guards slip and fall, thanks to the liquid detergent Chong had spilled near the elevator exit. Through seamless teamwork, Bin and Chong make their escape. To cover their tracks, Chang's group plans to blow up the tunnel they dug using a homemade bomb. At the same time, they realize that the duplicated access card belongs to a bank employee. Once the card is returned to its original place, coinciding with the New Year celebration, Chang's group detonates the planted bomb. 15 hours earlier, a bank employee named Shin Chu is inspecting all the money in the Wanchi Bank vault. After ensuring that everything is neatly arranged, Chu Wen, about to report her work, is approached by her colleague Scene. With a video capturing Scene's previous inappropriate behavior towards another colleague, Chu Wen warns him that if he dares to bother her again, she will hand the footage over to the Wanchi Bank manager. Shortly afterward, Chen arrives to check the vault and congratulates them. Feeling suffocated by the toxic environment, Chu Wen has decided to resign. Hearing this, Chen can only wish her well in her future places. Some time later, Chen is seen in his private office with his two subordinates, Kong and Wu. During a conversation with his aunt, it becomes clear that Chen's term as bank president will soon come to an end. Chen's aunt, who has just learned about the launch of the BST digital currency, openly opposes it. However, it turns out that this is all part of Chen's plan. He has reaped huge profits from previous fundraising efforts, evident from his collection of luxury watches. With this success, Chen has now deliberately launched the digital currency to attract the public's sympathy and encourage them to invest in his newly issued currency. Meanwhile, Cao, who recognizes the name of Chu Wen, the bank employee whose ID card they duplicated, brings this up with the group. After some reflection, they recall that Chu Wen is Chang's ex-girlfriend. This thought causes Chong to unexpectedly speed up his car. During the drive, Cao manages to intercept a call from Chun, who reveals his plan to kill Chu Wen and frame her for the recent thefts. Surprisingly, it is revealed that Chun himself instructed Cao's group to steal the money from his own bank. It turned out, Chun sees an opportunity to scapegoat Chu Wen since she will soon be leaving her job. He plans to use this as a weapon, claiming that the money missing from the vault was stolen by Chu Wen. Sure enough, as Chu Wen heads to her apartment, she receives a notification of a $30 million deposit into her account. Assuming it's a system error, Chu Wen, exhausted, ignores the notification, wanting only to rest. Not long after, Chong, concerned for Chu Wen's safety, arrives to check on her. He tries to prevent Chu Wen from finding out that he served 5 years in prison. However, Chu Wen becomes angry, suspecting that Chong is hiding another woman from her. Putting their personal issues aside, Chang explains that the $30 million deposit was sent by Chun to make her the scapegoat for the bank robbery orchestrated by his group. Although Chang warns Chu-Wen that she's in danger and that Chin's men will try to reclaim the money, Chu-Wen doesn't believe him. Shortly afterward, as Chu-Wen is about to enter her room, she is suddenly attacked by Wu's henchman, who intends to kill her. Fortunately, before Chu-Wen is injured, Chang arrives just in time to fight off the attacker. Though injured by a knife slash, Chang manages to take control of the situation. He even succeeds in causing Wu's henchman to fall from a height. However, in an unexpected twist, the henchman, still hanging on, throws his knife towards a terrified Chu-Wen as she tries to run. Cao, seeing this, quickly opens the car door, causing the knife to rebound and injure the attacker. After confirming that Wu's henchman is dead, Chang instructs Wen how to use the attacker's phone to inform Wu that Chu-Wen has been killed. Chu-Wen then joins Chang's group. With the information that his henchman had successfully killed Chu-Wen, Wu goes to Chun to report the news. However, Wu hasn't recovered the $30 million Chun transferred to Chu-Wen's account. Hearing this, Chun tells Wu to sit and join him for dinner. In a fit of anger, Chun force-feeds Wu a large piece of steak, warning him to retrieve the money from Chu-Wen's account. Chun appears anxious, knowing that failing to recover the money would lead to significant losses. At their hideout, Chang's group explains the real situation to Chu-Wen. For her safety, Chang plans to return all the money they acquired. In front of Chu-Wen, the group outlines the strategy they intend to execute. The next morning, Chu-Wen enters the bank and goes about her day as usual. She needs to convince the bank manager to open the vault, which requires 2 special ID cards. However, Chu-Wen points out that, on that day, the scheduled inventory check falls to the manager and assistant manager, unless there's an emergency. Upon hearing this, Chang suggests sending a special delivery to the bank, which Wen Hao will open. The delivery contains hundreds of cockroaches, intended to prompt the bank manager to call pest control. That's when Chang and his group will make their move. However, they're aware that even if Chin's money is returned, he likely won't let them escape easily. To counter this, Bin is tasked with gathering deeper intel by disguising himself as Wu, a Wanqi Bank staff member, to find evidence that could land Chin in jail. Before the operation, Chang demonstrates how he can distract Chu-Wen. Although it seems a bit silly, Chang's group manages to take several of Chu-Wen's belongings without her noticing. The scene shifts to Bin, Wen Hao, and Cao shopping at a supermarket, gathering the items they need. Later that night, Wen Hao is tasked with collecting the cockroaches they'll use. Meanwhile, Chu-Wen tends to Chang's injuries. Curious about his past, Chu-Wen asks where Chang had been all that time. Reluctantly, Chang explains that he was arrested and spent 5 years in prison. He didn't want to tell Chu-Wen out of fear of burdening her. The following day, as they proceed with returning the stolen money, Chu-Wen follows her team's instructions. She heads to work as usual and enters the bank. While talking to Anne, the bank manager suddenly arrives and announces that there's no inspection scheduled for that day. Hearing this, Chang quickly instructs Chu-Wen to create a distraction, so Wen Hao can grab the manager's special ID card. With no other option, Chu-Wen shares the video of Scene harassing Anne. To her surprise, the video successfully diverts attention, allowing Wen Hao to take the manager's ID card with ease. After everything goes smoothly, it's now Wen Hao's turn to open the package filled with hundreds of cockroaches. Although most of the staff remain unfazed, the bank manager is visibly terrified by the swarm. The manager then instructs Chu-Wen to call pest control. With Wen Hao's help, Chang takes all of Chin's transferred money, which they had already withdrawn from Chu-Wen's account. Meanwhile, Bin, now disguised as Wu, successfully fools everyone around him. Unfortunately, the adhesive used on his disguise loosens in the elevator, forcing him to come up with a way to keep his cover. Luckily, Cao erases their activity from the CCTV footage. Shortly after, Bin directs Wu's subordinates and begins extracting evidence in the form of secret files from Wu's computer. A moment later, Chang and Wen Hao notify Chu-Wen that they're about to arrive. But unexpectedly, Scene appears in front of Chu-Wen. Realizing that Scene works for Chun, Chang urges Chu-Wen to leave immediately. As Chu-Wen makes her way out, Scene informs Chun and Wu of her location. Given the urgent situation, Chang instructs his team to return to the car and abort their mission. In the parking lot, Chu sees that Wu's henchmen have already discovered Bin's disguise. Just as Chu attempts to escape, Xin shows up, intending to capture her. Fortunately, Chu, who is skilled in martial arts, quickly subdues Xin. Moments later, Chang arrives and pulls Chu away. Watching from the security cameras, Cao notices that Wu and his crew have arrived and strategically parks his car at the exit, informing Chang of his position. As Wu orders his henchmen to hunt down Chang's team, Bin accidentally crosses paths with them. Amidst the tension, Chang tells Chu when to escape on a motorcycle. Seeing this, Wu instructs Kong and his team to chase them. Once they are all distracted, Bin launches an attack on Wu. As a result, a high-stakes chase ensues between Chang and Kang's team, who are furiously determined to kill Chu. After a prolonged effort, Chu and Chang finally manage to get away. Meanwhile, during the ongoing fight between Wu and Bin, Wu's henchmen arrive, confused as to who the real Wu is. Unfortunately, due to the poor adhesive, Bin's disguise eventually fails. Fortunately, Cao quickly steps in and pulls Bin to safety. Hours later, Bin and Cao are joined by Wen Hao, who also escaped the earlier chaos. Feeling abandoned, Bin expresses his desire to flee with their loot, split 3 ways. This infuriates Wen Hao, who accuses Bin of betraying Chang. Before the argument escalates, Cao intervenes, reminding them that they are a family. Cao's words soften both Wen Hao and Bin. Elsewhere, in their hideout, Chang gives Chu new identification and money so she can escape. Outraged, Chu refuses, revealing her lingering love and her unwillingness to leave him again. Shortly afterward, Wen Hao, Bin, and Cao arrive at the hideout. Since their plan has completely failed, Chang begins to devise a new strategy. During this time, Wen Hao seems uncomfortable with the closeness between Chang and Chu. Elsewhere, Chen is seen beating Xin for failing to perform his duties, with Wu and Kong looking on. Unexpectedly, Wen Hao appears and offers to cooperate with Chen. In front of everyone, Wen Hao states that his group will return all the stolen money the next day. However, Wen Hao asks Chen to release Chang and never bother him again. Hearing this request, Chen promises to free Chang on the condition that Wen Hao retrieves all the stolen money and places it in his personal account. This statement enrages Wu, who tells Chen not to work with him anymore. Suddenly, Chen, in a fit of anger, shoots Wu on the spot. The next day, and arrives at the bank carrying numerous cakes sent by Chu, who hasn't come to work. In reality, Chu is outside the bank with Chang's team, ready to launch their operation. Shortly after, disguised in special costumes, Chang's group enters the bank, posing as robbers. After setting up a special explosive device and securing the hostages, Cao collects all the cakes Chu delivered. As they prepare to move forward with their plan, Wen Hao unexpectedly betrays them by secretly connecting his phone to Chen. Realizing that Chang's group is about to act, Chen sends his henchmen to confront them. Not long after, the police arrive at the bank, having been tipped off by Chen. Seeing this, Chang instructs Cao to distract the officers. Taking and as a hostage, Cao stands before the police, sharing a heartfelt story about his life as an orphan, which instantly softens and the police officers. Meanwhile, using the cakes they had prepared earlier, Chang detonates the vault undetected by the police outside, following a signal from Cao. Apparently, the group had previously anticipated a potential failure, and to reduce their punishment, Cao suggested using realistic fake firearms. As they open the vault, Chen and his group suddenly arrive, intent on killing them. To heighten the tension, Chen reveals that what they are carrying isn't money but cakes that Wen Hao has switched. Stunned by his betrayal, Chang can't believe Wen Hao would go to such lengths. At the same time, Wen Hao, carrying all their stolen money, is seen meeting with Kong in Chen's office. Meanwhile, Cao, feeling his job is done, asks the police for food to feed the hungry hostages. While Cao exits and accidentally drops a bomb trigger, the bank manager, thinking it's a decoy, slowly steps out and subdues one of the robbers. Back to Chang. In the midst of the tension, Wen Hao suddenly returns and reveals that his actions were not without reason, but were all for Chang, whom Wen Hao deeply cares for. This revelation shocks Chen and everyone else, as they realize that Wen Hao harbors romantic feelings for Chang. Unexpectedly, Wen Hao blames Chu Wen's rekindled relationship with Chong for all that has happened. While everyone is taken aback by Wen Hao's confession, Wen Hao suddenly attacks. It turns out that this entire sequence was orchestrated by Chang's group to make it seem as if Wen Hao was a traitor. After successfully subduing Chen's group, Wen Hao notices that Chun is about to shoot Chong and quickly tries to intervene. Just as Chen prepares to finish them all off, Chu Wen stands up and warns Chen not to proceed. Her words echo those of Chen's mother, who always urged him to avoid a life of crime. This, however, is merely a distraction devised by Chang's team, allowing them the chance to escape. Hearing an explosion and seeing the bank's entrance open, the police rush inside to check on the situation. By this time, Chang's team has already escaped through a tunnel they had previously dug. The police find Chen and his group inside and proceed to inspect the vault in Chen's private office. When Chen opens his personal vault, they are shocked to discover all the bank's stolen money inside. With the crucial information and evidence provided by Ben earlier, the police immediately arrest Chen and Kong. It turns out that Kong had been knocked unconscious, fitted with a mask by Chang's group to make it look like he was the one leading the robbery near the entrance. Kong had originally planned to eliminate Wen Hao, but Ben arrived just in time to save him. After tying Kong up at the bank entrance, Ben and Wen Hao placed all the stolen money in Chen's personal vault. This location had been revealed to them through surveillance cameras Ben had previously installed. Meanwhile, the police are led to believe that Chen and Kong orchestrated the entire heist for their own profit. Although they spot a large hole in the cleaning room, the police commander overlooks it, satisfied that they have found the true culprits. In the end, Wen Hao proves to be even craftier. After he and Ben manage to transfer all the stolen money, Wen Hao secretly takes Chen's collection of luxury watches. On their way home, Wen Hao shares the luxury watches he pilfered with the rest of the team. And so, the film comes to a close. Moral lesson from the story: always double-check who's robbing who, or you might end up stealing cakes instead of cash. And remember, even in crime, cockroaches are your best friends for making a quick exit.